Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me. We are live. This is Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream, Be the Boss of Your Money. We want to make you the boss of your money. It's very easy for your money to control you, for you to be just just living for your money, controlled by it. We want you to control your money. We want you to lead your life, not money. And everything that we do, in my view, has to do with money. And, people are swimming in money, but there are people who just have nothing to swim in, and they are, they just don't have enough, and they're trying to figure out car situation, and they're trying to figure out housing, and then there are those who are trying to figure out, if they should change their asset allocation to their investments, which is of course a first world problem. This show is for everybody. We teach personal finance here. It's all educational. I never ever want to come off like it's an infomercial. You know what I mean? It's just let me fix my mic here. I had my guest here, my partner Bobby, was sitting right here, and we were doing a live stream, and I moved the mic around. I have to get another mic. I never really expected to have guests right from here. I usually do it online, but it's just he's right across the hall. It just makes sense to do it that way. So, yeah, another toy. Listen. You don't have to twist my arm to buy another mic. I am using for my microphone this. You see, it says Shure. Shure is a very, very well respected manufacturer of microphones. This is the Shure MV7. It works with an XLR cable and as a USB mic, and it's just great. It makes you sound terrific. It doesn't change your voice. It just makes your voice sound as good as it could sound. And I'm going through a audio mixer. This is a Rodecaster Pro 2, and this has a lot of features, but most importantly, I really like how it makes my voice sound. And you could do other things like bring in music, right? You could do that. And I could do this. What else can I do? If I tell a bad joke. All right. I hope that's coming clear. And then we have the mic switcher, so I get more than one mic going at the same time. All right, enough. I'm showing off now. But how are you doing today, guys? Did you did you finish your holiday shopping? Are you still out there trying to figure out what to get for your kids, for your parents, for your friends, for your siblings? The stores are definitely crowded. I've been out and about. I've been hitting some restaurants and living pretty good. Things are definitely crowded. Are people spending a lot of money? Well, from what we're hearing anecdotally from retailers, most, not all, but most retailers and certainly banks are saying that the consumer is not in the spending mood that they were in a few months ago. And, credit card usage is up, savings is starting to go down. And that's all part of the narrative that the Federal Reserve actually wants. So we'll talk about these things. Before I forget, let me roll a quick intro, and then we're going to talk about these things. And I want to show you the streaming stocks. We're going to review those today because it's just an unmitigated freaking disaster. All right, here we go. All right, we are back. I'm just going to make sure I have the right settings here. Audio. Am I coming in loud? Can you guys hear me? I think so. I didn't hear the music in my intro, so hopefully there is not a problem here, but I think we're good. Hey, do me a favor. You're watching. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the like button and mention in the comments if you hear me, if I'm coming in nice and loud and clear. I hear myself fine because I'm using the Shure headset, which goes with my Shure microphone. Seems everything I use is either Shure or Rode, and I've got a Blackmagic 810 Mini that allows me to switch the cameras. If you ever want to get into a whole show about streaming and the equipment I use, I'd love to do that. I don't have like links up there where I get paid to recommend this stuff. This is just the equipment that I've purchased with my own money, and that I've managed to put together into a system that works flawlessly for live streaming, Zoom calls. We're just making videos, and editing. So it's I have the whole thing all set. Okay, so you can catch me on all of these, social media platforms. I'm on InstaMitch at InstaMitchG. If you want just quick hits of educational content served, I would say 4 or 5 days a week. You want to follow me on Instagram at InstaMitchG. For YouTube, which where you could find all the live streams and lots of other short videos. But LinkedIn is my main jam. I post stuff there. I comment. I probably do the most posting that I do on LinkedIn. Facebook, client for strategy on Facebook. So that's really just for the live stream. And some of you are probably watching on live stream on Facebook now. And I stream to Twitter. I don't really do much on Twitter. I feel like Twitter's become a bit of a cesspool. I'm actually contemplating just getting off the platform. I don't really have that many followers there, and I get no joy or entertainment or value anymore out of Twitter. If you're watching in Twitter, I do appreciate you. This is not an insult to you. All right, I do appreciate you being there. So anyway, I hope you guys are getting your holiday shopping done, and hopefully you're not going over budget. Just curious, how many people really set a budget of what they could get? Because you want to get your child something, and maybe what you want to get them is $80 or $100. You thought you were going to spend less, or maybe we could be talking bigger numbers for some of you, I'm sure. But it's very easy to go over budget. So do you cut back on the number of people you buy gifts for? Do you give more people gifts, but less expensive gifts? Or do you say, you know what? I'm not doing gifts this year, and I don't care if any of you get me a gift. I don't want it. I don't want to be a part of it, because the gifts that you get are typically not things you need or want, but you wind up spending money on other people for things that they don't need or want. And it's just kind of like a big racket. So some of you may feel that way. And some of you might just say, I'm getting gifts for my, for my immediate family. So what do you think? Are you guys staying in the budget? I know most people will not come out and say they went over budget. It's not something people want to admit. And that's okay. This is a judgment-free zone. The important thing is, if you go over budget, is it kind of like you knew a little bit you go over budget? Is it a deal breaker for you? As long as it's not, taking food off the table, it's okay. So some of the things to talk about. I want to talk to you about streaming stocks first. We'll talk about that second. Just want to do a quick review. I like to kick things off on a Monday with a review. I find that how my Monday starts is how my week goes. A lot of you might feel that way also. So let's take a quick look. Pop myself up in the corner here. Okay, we have this. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I messed this. I'm going back. All right. Let's just. Yeah, I didn't do it right. All right. So let me just go back to this. All right, here we go. All right, that's better. Let me get rid of the social media icons. All right. So the Dow off 163 points. It looks like it's kind of moderate, right? After the couple of tough days we had last week, it does look like 162 points down 0.5% today, 0.49%. It does seem pretty tame right now. And just so you guys all know, I see you out there, Maddie. Thank you very much for joining me. NASDAQ off 1.5%. It was off more than that earlier today, but tech stocks in particular are still getting the brunt of the worries of a recession and higher interest rates. So tech stocks are not impervious to economic cycles, and when interest rates go up, it makes future earnings of companies worth less money. So if interest rates are going up, I'm talking short-term rates that the Fed is moving up, that's going to hurt the tech stocks. And stocks that are considered pricey by whatever metric you want to use, we could debate that another day, but those are the stocks that get hit the hardest. S&P was off about 35. So you could see that the Dow was down the least, the Nasdaq was down the most, and the S&P was down, but in the middle between those two. That's often how it is because the Dow is the least exposed to technology, the Nasdaq is the most exposed to technology, and the S&P is in the middle. So that's how that goes, and it works in reverse. Where the market's shooting up, Nasdaq goes up the most, then the S&P 500, and then the Dow. By the way, you can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest in a security that tracks or mimics an index. Okay, gold was off a little bit, but just trying to hold on to 1800. Oil was up nicely today. I know what you're saying. We don't want oil to go up. We don't want oil to plunge either. If oil plunges, that could be an indication of a much worse problem with the economy. If oil goes up too much, then that's inflationary and we pay through the nose. So it's really, it's like you're rooting for both, but you want stability at around this level for oil. We like to see gas go under $3 a gallon, but right now, near me, I'm seeing 309 to 315 per gallon on Long Island. Anyway, the 10-year at 3.58%. It's moving up ever so slightly. It was 3.4 and change last week, and the VIX was down a little bit. It's a 22, but the VIX has been holding steady, an indication that, maybe complacency. So let's talk about that. I I I see a lot of complacency, whereas people are still thinking the Fed is about to pause. It's about to stop its interest rate rising path. Didn't sound that well when I said it, but that the Fed wants to come to the end of their path of raising rates. And people think like once that happens, the market's off to the races and we're back to where we were like at the highs, a little bit over a year ago. I think it's wishful thinking. I don't think the market clawing going back to its old highs is going to be an easy process. It's going to fight and claw for every inch that the market gains going forward. The gains are going to be hard fought, hard won, and that's what I think we're facing. So not a lot of rapid upside potential, in my opinion, in the overall market, but there are going to be pockets of strength, just like there's always pockets of strength and there's pockets of weakness. It's just in a bear market, there's more pockets of weakness, obviously, than strength. That's where we diversify, right? Diversification, it's a strategy that we use to mitigate risk, but it doesn't necessarily protect your portfolio from going down in a generally down market. I think we've all discovered that because most of us are diversified and our portfolios are still down by a fair amount. So let's keep going. The tech stocks are really taking it on the chin. And this is what we spoke about. We said, this is what I said every day. The smaller tertiary stocks and the second tier stocks get hit. The market has been held up as far as the major averages go, like the S&P 500. It's been holding up because the mega cap tech stocks have held up. Amazon, Apple, Meta, Alphabet. And I said, once they start to break, you're going to really see the averages tank. That's what happened. And I think it's continuing to happen. We're heading into recession. The Fed's still raising rates. I think we're heading into recession. I could very easily make the argument, and I've been saying this, I think we are in a recession. It's just different because the statistics are funky, partially because of COVID, partially because of the massive government spending response to COVID, and partially because our economy is so diversified that not all sectors of the economy rise and fall together. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. Let's take a look at the bond market. So yields kicked up a little bit. I know you see the short-term yields were down a drop, but going from the 1 year up, yields were still up a little bit. But the 3-month is at 4.27. The 10-year is at 3.58. Still a pretty dramatic 0.7275 difference between the 10-year and the 1 month. It's really just such a striking number. just to see the difference between the 1 month and the 10 year. I mean, the yield curve is so inverted, and when the yield curve is inverted, it's basically it's a lack of confidence in the economy. B, it's an expectation that the economy in the future will be weaker than it is today, and therefore inflation will come down and interest rates will come down. And C, it makes it impossible for banks to make money, so they stop lending. So access to credit freezes up. So what do I mean by that? Banks borrow from you short term on CDs, and then they lend long term. But if long term means long term rates are lower than the short term rates that of CDs, then banks aren't making money and they don't want to lend. They just want to preserve their cash, and that's the problem with short term rates up and long term rates down. That's what happens in an inverted yield curve. Freezes up credit. Okay, let's take a look at the stock of the day, guys. All right, guys, let's put this one up here. All right, there we go. So Disney was down about 5% today, as you can see this 52-week low on the day. And what's really crazy is Disney's down 44% on the year. It's just something you don't really see Disney going down that much. I think people see Disney as a safety stock that you could buy, put it away for your grandchildren, never sell it. That I don't think necessarily changes because Disney's down. Every now and then, stocks are going to have a tough year, and they will eventually every stock will have their worst year ever since the last time, because people are saying Disney's the worst performance now since like 1980s. Okay, well, every stock one day will have its worst performance, since 2022 or 2023. But Disney is down significantly. They were doing well during the pandemic, and they were being carried by Disney Plus, their streaming channel platform. And as growth has slowed down, and as investors start to realize that they're not making any money from it. In fact, the things that they're making money from, feature films and parks, are kind of light. And they just had Avatar: The Way of Water come out, and it was a huge disappointment in its release and how much money it pulled in. And it was like a multi-billion-dollar endeavor. I saw that Disney has to take in something like $2 billion in sales, ticket streaming and whatnot, in order to break even on this movie. And that was just a kick in the ass at a time when, nobody wants to take more losses, and, money could become scarce if we head into a recession. Investors are going to say, I wish you guys had that money in the balance sheet. Maybe reinstate the dividend and buy back stock or something, right? So that is that. So while we're looking at Disney down 44%, okay, let's look at Netflix is down 52%. Netflix and chill, it's more like Netflix and sell, okay? So Netflix has just gotten absolutely clobbered too. They went down before Disney. They started their descent before Disney, and they're down way more from their all-time high than Disney is. The 52-week high is $620 on the stock, and the stock closed today at 287. So about 2/3 of their market cap is gone, which is just insane. All right, and then you have Warner Brothers Discovery, and this one is down 60% year to date. And then you have Roku, another big streamer, down 80% year to date. So these stocks have taken it in the chin. They've gotten crushed. You might be thinking, what are you going to do to get back to even in these stocks? Well, a couple things you could do. You could just take the losses on these stocks, and if it's in a taxable account, use that as a future carry forward for your write-off. And you could put the money into what you think is the best of breed entertainment company, which ultimately would mean you're selling these stocks to go to Disney. Or you could say, I'm just going to go into another sector of the market. You could get out of the market and lock in your loss permanently. Or you could maybe go into an index fund. There are a number of things that you could do with the money. But I do feel if you sell and get out completely, you're missing out on the gain, of course. And ultimately, the long-term stock market, bull market gains are have always been bigger than the bear market losses, which is why the stock market has made progress over time. If I could tell you when the down years are going to be in advance, I would. But since we don't, we build a portfolio that's right for us based on your time horizon, your risk tolerance, and we can let that ride without getting spooked out. It's important to know your risk tolerance because if you know your risk tolerance, you could understand at what point are you going to panic and bail out of the market. We don't want that to happen. So we want to build a portfolio that hopefully will keep us from getting quite there. Okay. So that's that. And that is all I have to say. So just a couple of quick housekeeping things to share with you. If you don't know, and we're friends on Facebook and other channels, other platforms, but if you don't know, I'll be starting a live radio show. January 23rd is my inauguration date. It's actually a live radio show, covers Suffolk County, which is a huge amount of people. It'll reach maybe into a little bit into Nassau County. It'll be the biggest audience that I've spoken in front of consistently. I've been on TV. I've spoken in bigger audiences, but not one this big on a consistent basis. And it's a live show. So just like I'm coming to you live now, I'm actually going to be doing this radio show live. Most of the people on this chat on the radio station are not live. They pre-record. The recordings get edited and then they're pushed out at different times during the week. I'm just going to go for it. I don't want to do pre-recorded. I want to do it live. I'll maybe mess up my words, stumble, stutter over things. I don't care. We're going to go live. And we're going to talk about personal finance, financial education, the sort of thing that you see right here. We're going to go a little bit more in depth in the statistics, economic statistics that come out, and then I explain them and tell you what they are. And we're going to talk about Social Security. We're going to talk about Medicare. We're going to talk about even crypto, you name it. If it has something to do with financials, diversification, whatever, we're going to talk about it just like we talk about it here. So if you have the opportunity to like Long Island News, or as they call it, LI News 103.9, follow them on Facebook. And certainly if you can listen in on the radio at 9 a.m., do that too. And I'll be taking phone calls from you, and I'll be taking questions from you. I might actually get more involved with Twitter just because of that. So I could say, tweet me, at your questions or something like that. And we'll see. And I'm going to live stream it also, just like you're seeing me here, but I'm going to just be doing the live stream in front of cameras so you could see behind the scenes what's going on. So I have some really exciting projects I'm working on. This is right now the biggest, most exciting one that I have going on. And I want to make it entertaining. I want you to have fun, but not everything about finance could be made fun. Some of the stuff is pretty dry, but I do want to make it interesting. And I think that if I could teach you why you need to know something, what it's for, and how it can impact you, I think you'll be much more apt to listen up and pay attention, as opposed to just saying, well, PE ratios are high or sales to ratios are too high. We could get into all ratios and math and stuff, but if you know how it affects you, you'll be interested in it. And that's what I want to do. I want to keep you engaged, interested, and I want a conversation. I don't want to just be me blurting into the radio. I want you to hit me up with your questions, and I want you to hit me with your calls. And we're just going to have so much fun doing it. So that's what's going on with me. And thank you very much for joining. I'm going to let you guys go. It's been a long day today, hasn't it? And I have a little bit more holiday shopping to do myself. So I'll see you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.